Peace and love, family and friends, naysayers, whomever. My name is Leon Wheeler Jr., and this is Master Making in Motion. In today's brief talk, win people over by affirming their self-image. I'm going to share a little story with you. When I was a youngster, most of the adults, well, not most of them, a lot of the adults that I found myself around, and teachers, a lot of them had secret, I guess, desires, hopes that I would get my butt kicked. A lot of them did. They did this because, again, I was a bad kid. I've told you all that a few times. I was a very bad kid, causing havoc everywhere I went. And to be honest, looking back, if I was to have seen me, then I'm sure I would have been hoping the same thing. Kick his, no doubt. So this has been going on all my life, for the most part. I mean, it just, it was a desire, a secret desire, because most people didn't want you or nobody else to know that that's what they felt about a kid. But again, it was warranted. It was definitely warranted. At Mayberry, I guess I charmed most people, even the adults, but my teachers with my smile and my charisma. So they developed a love-hate relationship for me. They dug me, but they still wanted to see me, be put in my place. So I eventually started hearing teachers say things like that. It was like, well, when you make it to junior high school, they're gonna put you in your place. You're gonna find some guys there that's it's gonna be a little tough for you. So get ready. So this always was on my mind. It was always on my mind. I was like, why my teacher want to see me get whooped? But again, I was a bad kid. So first day of school, I walked in at Earhart Middle High School. I walked into the classroom, my homeroom class, and I was excited. Yet a little nervous, because of details, but eager to see, what was going to take place. So I walk in the room, and I case the joint out. I look to the left and the right, hey, what's going on? And I noticed three oversized students sitting down. They was really big, tall looking. I mean, I could tell they was bigger than everybody else in the class. Almost possibly could have been disguised as teachers, or teachers disguised as students. That's how big they look. So my first mind always clicking, trying to put things together. I said, you better go over there and sit with those cats. Because you definitely don't want to be beefing with them, you know what I'm saying? And if you make it to become friends with them, this will possibly make your stay at Earhart a lot easier. You got these big cats on your side. So I made my way over there. And the gentleman's names was Michael, Renard, and Lou. We called him Big Lou. And we called Michael Mike. For whatever reason, Renard and Big Lou didn't stay around. Rumor had it that Renard ended up going to jail, prison. I'm not saying directly afterwards, but I mean, I don't know what the short period, what time frame it was. But that was the rumor. He ended up getting in trouble, going to juvenile jail, whatever. And the rumor eventually came to me that Big Lou had went to the Army. Again, I'm not saying this happened directly afterwards because like at the time we like 13, probably 13, 14 years old, 13 years old. And I'm figuring they were probably a little older than that. That's probably why they didn't want to stay around because they were so much older, and in the seventh grade. So anyway, they disappeared. But Mike stayed around. And I'm sure Mike wasn't that old because he didn't even look as old as them, but he was tall. He was almost their size. They were tall. So I'm figuring Mike was probably a year older than me at best, maybe two, but I think they were a lot older. Anyway, so Mike stayed around and me and Mike got real tight. I got tight with everybody, my students in the classroom. I eventually created I guess, a relationship with everybody, and I was liked. Again, I had that charisma. I was liked, and I was smart enough to put myself in the right company for what I was trying to achieve, whatever my accomplishments was. And at that time, it was making a name for myself. Always trying to make a name for myself, being a menace, being a terrorist, being a bad boy, being a bad kid. So me and Mike got real tight. Was other guys in the class, Mark, a few females. I know I can remember Sheila, Tammy, my friend from my neighborhood ended up. I'm not sure if Lorenzo ended up in my class. I think he did. Lorenzo Vance. He was a year older than me, but he was my size too. So anyway, I'm not sure. Can't recall. But anyway, I made it uh, to Earhart, and this became my faith. I became, I guess, the face of chaos at that school. This was my legacy, and it seemed like it's gonna always be my legacy. But anyway, so we at there, and I get real tight with Mike. Me, Mike, Mark. Yeah, Lorenzo was there. Me, Mike, Mark, Lorenzo. I can't remember a bunch of the other students' names. I know Sheila and Tammy was a part of the crew. So we had developed a little clique there. So eventually I started going to Mike's neighborhood. Mike stayed on what we then called the west side of Detroit. Most of the kids that went to Earhart were black kids, were from that area, the west side, what we call then the west side of Detroit. Now it's all considered to be in the 90s. They started calling it, when the gangs became really popular, the more up to date gangs, that's dealing more so with colors and stuff like that. Uh, they started calling it Southwest Detroit. I think it was like 92 when I first heard that terminology. Yeah, when I first heard that part of town was considered to be Southwest Detroit. We consider Southwest Detroit just to be like in the Visica, Schaefer area, back over there. Anyway, so I visit Mike's hood. I started going over there, and I think the first time I went over there, it was eye opening. Those guys was a lot more advanced than I was, and the people in my neighborhood and the surrounding area there. They was into a whole lot of more havoc, creating more havoc and more chaos. Way more advanced stuff that I was doing. I was just becoming abreast to it. They was doing it and beyond. So when I got over there, I walked in the neighborhood. I think I had a couple of my guys with me, and I noticed they was at the neighborhood store. And when they saw us, I guess they said they was trying to figure out who these invaders was. They know we wasn't from the neighborhood, so a bunch of them came out. They was pretty thick. So I ended up getting over there, and they found out who I was. I think Mike was out there, and this, that, and another. Because I met quite a few other guys in the neighborhood through Mike, and they coming up to Earhart that may have went there, may have not. So anyway, we ended up hanging out with them. And again, they were thick. They was quite a few of them. And I learned that they was a neighborhood gang coming from the Earl Flynn's and the BKs. It was they were like the fathers of from the east side of gang activity in Detroit, and it was more hood related, more cliques. It wasn't back then wasn't caught up on colors or nothing like that, or it was just like cliques, neighborhood cliques, and they had the names on it, all over every neighborhood. But my neighborhood being so small, it was didn't have a lot of cliques. Down further, they had the ACs, but on my end, it was really nothing. It was just really nothing. But when I got over there, I found out that those guys were Eminem Flynn's. I knew some other Eminems over there off of 23rd in that area, and these guys was on Banger. So I'm on Banger with my new comrades, and they were Eminem Flynn's. You had the BKs over there too, on the other side of Scott, and and this was some really interesting times for a youngster coming up. Like I said, he was a little more advanced than me, but I was a quick learner, easy learner. So I picked up really fast. I just paid attention, listened, uh, and shared whatever I got from them. I took advantage of it and brought it back to my neighborhood. So we eventually adapted the name of Eminent Friends too. So now we Eminent Friends. So now in the school, I was doing what I do always, making a name for myself, creating havoc, doing the things that youngsters do at that time. And I'm always thinking in my mind that these teachers were saying I was going to get beat up, but that didn't happen. What actually took place is, again, I became more astute at convincing people to follow me. You know, being a leader. That's what ended up taking place. And again, I learned a lot from those guys. A lot, and most of it was bar none negative. But a lot of the guys are still alive, fortunately, and doing good for the most part. And those are my friends. That was part of my upbringing. You know, being indoctrinated into that particular culture. Again, it was a little more advanced than me, so those guys on that part of town was the first ones selling drugs and all of that because they was a bigger community with more accessibility to certain stuff, and that's pretty much how that took place. So not long ago, I went to Mayberry Elementary School. Come to me, I was in the neighborhood, and I had visited Earhart once before because this is my stepping stone. These are the places that, where I was, I guess, my identity was created. This is where I forged my identity. This is where I became that bad kid going to these schools and living in my neighborhood, my experience and developing the personality, an inflated ego, or trying to protect the ego or create an image. So I went to Mayberry because it dawned on me. I said, you need to go in here and visit the school. I haven't visited the school since I've been out of prison, and that was always a thought on my mind. And I do want to give back. My thought is to always give back, to fulfill my obligation. My motto is teach what you want to learn. So, I want to go and share. I know I owe the youngsters there, and I want to be able to be an example and give them hopefully some words of inspiration, because this is what I do. This is what I've pledged to do, is to reach as many people as I possibly can in hopes of giving them some positive uh, words of advice, being a good example, motivating them to sidestep the pitfalls so they don't have to go through what I went through. If that's the key. If you can be successful, if you can make it and fulfill your life or your dreams without going through all the pitfalls, that's the blessing. So I went to Mayberry, and I was trying to schedule talking to the principal, and it dawned on me that I need to do some speaking there and Earhart. This is what my plans are in the near future. And sitting there, I just thought about the teachers, and I was thinking about how they said that I was going to get my butt kicked, and like I said, the opposite took place. I ended up becoming more astute at being a leader. So one thing that I can say now, like I didn't have the skills and I was doing things with the negative connotation behind it, but I can say now clearly that I know that you can have convinced people to be more able to deal with you and want to embrace you by not challenging them. Accepting who they are and allowing them to live out however they perceive themselves to be. And by doing that, if you don't challenge them, if you accept it, they'll open up to you more. And when they open up, you have an opportunity to possibly persuade them. So this is something that I learned now. At 61 years old, I'm steady learning, I'm studying, I'm steady evolving. And again, my motto is to teach what I want to learn And that was one of the things I've learned. I've learned now, and I'm still unfolding because again, I study all the time. Is if you just allow people to be who they are, and not try to force your ideology or your perception of who they are, how they perceive themselves, even if they perceive themselves in a way that's not necessarily accurate. But that's not your job. If you want to persuade them to do something, the best way to do it is just to allow them to feel however they feel about themselves and not challenge it. You can't challenge it. And if you just accept that, they will feel more at ease, more comfortable with you, and they'll let you in. And this is what I've learned, and I'm learning, and I'm sharing it. Teach what you want to learn. And this is what I want to learn. I want to learn how to master me, to be the example I want to see. And I share that with you. So if I said anything that inspired you that you can relate to, I ask that you put it in the comments. Tell me how you motivate people to help you accomplish some things in your past or in your present, what you want to do. Share that with me. And if you know somebody that's suffering with this or possibly being real forceful, trying to force their ideologies or concepts on people that can use this, maybe they can back up and do the pause thing a little more. I ask that you share it with them, because that's what it's about. We share because we care. And I ask that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That's the way the channel grows. I also ask that you check out my book, Code and Ethics for Up and Coming Players. You can get it at Barnes and Nobles, Amazon. You can get it in hardback, softback, and ebook, and Audible. Audible book. You can get it. You can listen to it, and also King. You can get it the same way. You can get it at Barnes and Nobles. You can get it at Amazon, soft, hard, ebook, Audible. Get them. They're good books, great books. And also, I've never did this before, but I want you to see, this is my hair company, Maya Rain Hair. You can visit my website, MayaRainHair.com. It's spelled MayaRainHair.com. And you can call me at 313-574-0582. Check me out. This is for us. I do this because I am motivated. This is my way of giving back, and I want to be instrumental. I want to be in your life. I want us to grow together and be the best that we can be. As always, be.